And so something else you mentioned earlier, this was probably 5 minutes ago or so, but I want to come back to it in a minute, is the importance and role of EQ. So I do want to come back to that. But before we move into that,
Important.
because it sounds like that's a nice mental framing of how do you kind of calm your mind, stay present. But before we do, any other particular tips, since we're on the topic of how to make ourselves a better learner, any other tips you might offer or suggest?
Memory. Because if you don't remember what you learn, it isn't going to do you any good. And here's another aside. Most people think reading is learning. Reading is never learning. If it was, everyone reading would get an A. We don't see that happen. So reading is part of a process called learning, but by itself. And then people, if you ask a student, did you study? They'll tell you two criteria. Yeah, I read for 4 hours. I read 400 pages. No, doesn't mean a thing. I did a graduate course in educational psychology, which I did in 7 hours. It's a 4-month course. I took the AP test in 50 minutes. It was a 6-hour test. I got a B+. So why didn't you get an A? I didn't need an A. I was a teacher. I needed 4 graduate credits. I didn't care about the course. I wanted the credits. So I got 4 graduate credits in less than 8 hours for $65. I needed a C-. So I more than exceeded my need. By the way, that's another aside. What's your purpose? Keep at the end in mind. What do you want as your win? Before you even start, what is it you want to see happen at the end? So if you know your goal, it's going to be easy to achieve it. My goal was credits, not learning. And at that time, it was really what I needed. So these are very important points, and these things matter as much as just reading and learning. So what is learning? Learning is understanding the meaning and significance of what you read. And the second part is being able to use it when you need to use it, which is a big problem in business, because you mentioned your audience is business people.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you 3 problems they have. They don't even know. First one is schema. If you don't use words that the prospect and client can recognize and identify, you're alienating them. You're not building rapport, which is an EQ problem. The second problem is you're telling them what they need to know, but are you telling them how to remember it when they need to know it? How many times has someone told you what you need to know, and by the time you went to use it, you didn't remember what they told you and it didn't work? Doesn't build any rapport either. The third problem is EQ, which we'll do later. If they're not in the right state of mind to use it successfully, even though they have the data, it won't work. If they're too nervous, anxious, or depressed to do what you told them. And these are 3 things you can fix in business. And by the way, your kids need this in school. It's the same problem. Many students fail exams, not because they don't know information, although that's part of it. They get nervous taking the test and they can't think clearly. And so they're not able to recall what they learned and understood the night before because they're in the wrong state of mind. So those are all different issues that I would raise.